Hey, Mark, fake banter for the intro.
That's all I know how to do.
Great.
Good to be here.
Welcome to Tuesdays with
Stories.
Hit her in the face with a surfboard.
And then the duck fell out of his bag.
Surf's up. And she didn't even flush.
Knock, knock.
Who's there? Mark Norman and Joe List.
Yeah! This is Tuesdays with Stories, everybody.
Nah, that's terrible.
This is supposed to be cheesy.
My radio is spitting at me.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Stories. Mark couldn't make it this week. I am here with the one and only Wally Joyner, the former California Angels outfielder. I don't know how that came into my head.
Great. That's good. You're letting weird things in. Let it go. Let the put the filter down. Get kooky.
You know what it is? This is what the other day we were talking about something, and somehow I came up with Pete Incaviglia, who is a baseball player of no note whatsoever, and two people were like, "Hey, man, Pete Incaviglia, I heard that. That was crazy." And so now I'm like, all right, I just want to get three people to be like, "Whoa, man, I haven't heard that name since '89."
How does that? Two things. How does that fit on a jersey? Petabilia. I mean, that's 17 vowels there.
The longest last name in the history of Major League Baseball belonged to a Boston Red Sox player named Jared Saltalamacchia.
Woo!
And
Asian?
It was like, no, white guy, a regular old white guy, and it was size 4 print or whatever, font. I mean, and it wrapped from ass cheek to ass cheek.
It'd be funny if he put a red squiggle under it, like in Word, you know, just as a goof. Like, this is misspelled. I'm aware that it's a silly word.
Have you ever see something typed out on a piece of paper and it's underlined and you think you can like click on it?
Yes. That's the kookiest thing. That's that technology creeping into our taints. I mean, it's like you see those 2-year-olds now. They're sliding pictures on a magazine to try to get it to move.
Yeah, I tried doing a bit like this because I had 3, and they all eat it. They all eat shit, all the versions of my bit. But one was, you know, my mother hands me a picture of my grandmother in the 40s, and I'm doing this thing where I'm trying to zoom in on her tits, and I'm just smearing spaghetti sauce all over her vintage photo.
That's funny.
I think it's funny. It never works, I guess, because I'm talking about my grandmother's tits, and
that's what I liked.
But
that's the humor, sauce, if you ask me.
I mean, I am asking you, and I appreciate it. And then the other one I did, and this one has eaten it, but I mean, just gets 0, not a tee, nothing. But one time I was looking at like a field, and I tried to screenshot my like vision. Like I was like, I thought I could like snap a photo of what I was looking at by like blinking.
Yeah, that'd be a treat if you could do that. I would remember every gash and mashed potato you ever had, the best meal, the best view. I'm in the Amalfi Coast. Thank God for photographs.
Gash potato, but yeah, I mean...
Bangers and gash.
What was the third one? Oh, fuck. Oh, this happens to me a lot, where I'm writing in a notebook. Well, not that much, but I'm writing in a notebook, and I know I'm spelling a word wrong, and I wait for it to be corrected.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, this will just autocorrect, but it doesn't because it's a notebook, and I'm retarded. And I've mentioned all 3 of these on stage, and everyone thinks I'm a big gay pony.
Well, here's the clinker. I think these are all. I think they all got legs, unlike Oster Pistorius. And I think it's just ahead. You're too far ahead. You're talking to some welder in Syracuse. He's like, Grandma's tits. What is this? You know, I think you're too ahead of your time there, fatty.
Oh, maybe that's a good point. No one's caught up to my psychosis yet.
Yes, and they will, and you'll have the last laugh. But the problem is, that's the shitty thing about art, is you got to wait for the mainstream McDonald's eating layman to catch up to your cunt.
Yeah, that's a good point. These are interesting points because, you know, sometimes you think you're like, this is going to be a great bit, but that's the strange thing about comedy a lot is you think everyone probably thinks this and it's going to hit, and then you realize like, oh, I guess nobody else is thinking that, which I have an example of that, which became a bit on its own about where, one time I did a bit, I was like, don't you hate when you wake up and you go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and you just want to kill yourself? You have this feeling of wanting to die.
Yeah.
And the crowd was like, what? And I was like, oh shit, I guess I got a mental problem.
Yeah. Well,
and people didn't relate to that.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. But I think that's why podcasting is so popular, because basically an audience kind of sculpts your act. You can bring them to certain places, but if it doesn't work, you ultimately drop it, usually, if you're a good comic. And so the audience is basically sculpting your act, and with a podcast, you're just going, and you're not waiting for that laugh every 2 seconds, so you can kind of go further places.
Yeah, exactly. Good point. And it's enough to be, I mean, we try to be funny. I think we're being funny.
Yeah.
I think we're hilarious, but it does feel like on podcasts, it's enough to be interesting. And in stand-up comedy, it's not. Although there is a new faction of people in where you're trying to move, for God's sakes, where they think just saying things is enough.
Yeah. But that is the art of it, though. I mean, you have to get the laugh. You have to kill. So it's limited art, but it's still a hard thing to do. So thank God we have both, because we can be interesting and maybe a little poignant and gay and not murder, but on stage we get to murder. So it's good to have both.
I like both. I like a lot of different things. I mean, and we've talked about this before. I like a story. I like a pun. I like a twist, a misdirection. I like filthy. I like clean.
Yeah.
I like
racial, offensive, anal. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I like all the genres.
A couple sketches I like. There's like 4 ever that I've enjoyed.
One improv scene was good.
I'll tell you. I used to go to AssCat. Did you ever go to AssCat back in the day? What Paul Oda, my roommate, he lived with his girlfriend at the time was Emily Tarver, who worked at UCB, and she would reserve us seats, like front center seats, because that was like the hottest ticket in town. AssCat, if you're not familiar, that was an improv show, and it was ass with like 4 S's. And it was like
Tina Fey there. I saw Horatio Sands there. I saw all the Amy Pohlers.
Yeah, Horatio Sands would be a little. I never got to see Poehler or Tina Fey, but Chris Gethard was always there, and Rob Riggle. And to me, those two like stole the show. I thought Chris Gethard was like a genius. I was like, this guy is unbelievable, and he's a funny stand-up, obviously. But when he was doing improv, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, he was unbelievable in every scene, and that improv was like as good as it get. Like, great improv is like mind-blowing. The problem is, similar to stand-up, like 98% of it is pretty much dog shit. And I think it's a similar ratio with stand-up.
I completely agree. The only cool thing about stand-up, though, is you can bottle it. And then I feel like improv, you can't really film it. You can, but it ain't the same. It's when you're in that room and they're being on and it's clicking, there's nothing like it. Same with stand-up. But stand-up, at least you can hone it and then put it out on HBO. Yes,
exactly. There was the other... Who's the woman? I think she's like in charge over there now. Fuck. She's amazing, but I can't remember her name now. Shannon O'Neill. I think that's her name. I think it's Shannon O'Neill. I think she like became like she like ran UCB. Is UCB completely gone now?
I think it is, man. That place was magical. Remember running, like, you do Whiplash? It was a big deal, like, back in the day when it was sold out every night. It started at 11 p.m. on Monday. You'd run down those stairs. It was jammed. There was people on the walls, and you were on the floor telling jokes in the darkness. Oh, I love that UC. I love that room.
How did Whiplash come apart? And it was always still good, but it became like pretty packed, 80% full. But when we were at Whippersnappers, which I'm so old now, I'm talking about when I was like 33. But when we were 10 years ago, or whatever it was, 7 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever it was, that place, there'd be people sitting on the stage and then standing like against the wall. And then in a few years, I don't know what happened. It kind of was still a hot show, but not, I guess it was, what's his name was the host? Ted Leo and the pharmacist. What's his name?
Oh, Leo Allen.
Leo Allen, yeah. I don't know if it was when he left or what, but
that
folks,
was part of it.
If you got to see that show or be part of Whiplash in like, I guess, I don't know when it started, but like mid-2000s to 2012-ish, it was really something to behold.
Well, you saw I mean, it was first of all, it was hip. It was like underground. It was like almost speakeasy, like word of mouth bullshit. But then you get your Gaffigan popping in, you get your Louis popping in, you got your Aziz, your Hannibals, your Mulaney's all popping in when they were like cooking. Those guys were bubbling up, about to blow, and we were on the ground floor, and you got to see it. And if we were lucky, we could go first or second. But that was the draw, and I think T.J. Miller would jump in there and drink a pint of paint thinner and piss on the front row, and everybody went nuts. It felt a little less cell phony and a little less. It felt like some kooky shit could happen here, and it was a little dangerous and unpredictable. And I think once it lost that, people stopped going. They're like, it's 11 p.m. I'm gay. I'm old. I'm going home.
Hey, cell phony. That's a fun term because phony's in there. Cell phony.
Coin it.
That's
Put
something.
it on a shirt. T-Public.
A little cell phony, but there's been. Let's talk about the shows that have been like that's a scene, a show.
Yes,
because I think of Cabin as one too here in New York. That's no longer there.
True.
And Whiplash, like when you got booked on Whiplash, it felt like doing a TV set. You were like, oh my God, I got to do Whiplash tonight. You'd be nervous. You'd shit in your pants a couple times.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was hot crowds. And Cabin was like that too. It was Thursday nights at 10 or 9. I think it was 9, but started
9
late. Yeah. And that was in the East Village, and that bar, no one's ever bought it. It's still there. But that was another one where like everybody would be. Like it was like the scene in Goodfellas with Mickey Eyes and all that, and Mikey Francese. Like you'd walk through, and it was just every single seat was taken by the comics. It was so fun. And then the room was just slammed. Like you couldn't get in. If you were up next, you'd be in the back against that door, and then someone would open it and you'd fall out of the door, and the curtain, and that crazy drunk guy that sat up front, and then in the middle of your set, a guy would walk back with 6 cases of beer right past you.
Yes. Wow. Those were wild times. Every photo, if you're a super fan or a super fan, I caught myself there, but every photo of us, arm in arm, headlock, droopy eye, drooling, shit stains, that's Cabin. Everyone, I'm in a white shirt, you got a hoodie on, Soder's hanging on the scaffolding, and, Louis Katz is eating my ass, and Veter's blowing you, and that's Cabin. Every one of those, if you've seen those on Instagram, that's all Cabin.
I think Vita was only there once, but yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable, and there till sunup several times. Tommy Johnigan almost got in a fist fight with the bartender one time to be mean, and I spent all my money that I didn't have there because there was like a credit card minimum. Of course, I had no cash because I didn't have any money, and there was like a credit card minimum, but you'd have those drinks, and you'd be like, everyone get a shot on me. You're just trying to, somehow get Sean Patton to like you, so you're like, to have 3 shots, you fuck.
Yes.
And
they must have cleaned up all those bartenders. I mean, we spent thousands in there, or somebody did. Michael Che would be in there buying drinks. I remember we watched Mike Lawrence's Conan set. After I did Conan, I got a text, we're at Cabin watching it. Like, that's how big Cabin was, that you knew where your friends were when they watched it.
It was special. I remember one night, a great memory of me, Matt Wayne, George Gordon, and Cantor were all at the bar, in the area of the bar. And night they drove Old Dixie down by the band was on, and we just all knew everywhere. And slowly we all just started singing along, and we had like an arm in arm like sing along to the song, and it was still like one of the great moments of my comedy career. Yeah. And I love those guys, and that's it. That's the end of the story. But it was just special. I could close my eyes, or actually I could leave my eyes open, and I can just I can see it all. I love that place.
Love that place. It was gritty. It was remember that bathroom was that bathroom. You could get AIDS from looking at it. I mean, there was puke everywhere. There was a tampon coming off the wall and shit stains. I had a few gals in there. I mean, that was a wild ride.
I hated that bathroom because there was no lock, and every once in a while I'd be nervous because I drank 48 PBRs and ate 3 hot dogs, and then I had to do a set, and
the nerves are brewing.
Todd Barry's back there, so I got to take a shit the size of my mother's legs, and the door would just open, and you just couldn't. You'd have to try to keep a foot on the door, and it was far away, and also on the mirror it just said "You suck, you're a Nazi," whatever. So it was a crazy kooky time, but God, I got some great photos from there on Facebook and shit.
Oh, dude, I remember one time Sean Patton, it was his show basically, but he would show up late and then headline it. He'd literally do like 45 minutes, and it would murder. That was like his kingdom. And I remember one time Jim Gaffigan showed up. I look over, I see Jim Gaffigan, Jeselnik, and Hannibal talking, and I'm like, what the fuck is, oh my God, look at these fucking legends. You know, Hannibal's like a year older than me. And my friend Zach had to go on. He was trembling. He went on, and then Gaffigan just walked on stage after him and grabbed them. They did like a pass the mic, and Sean Patton looks at my friend Zach and goes, tell me this ain't the city where dreams come true, baby. And we were like, ah! We all fucking made out. It was pretty sad and gay, but it was awesome.
Well, this is the thing I miss most with COVID is, you know, the road. I've done a couple gigs here and there, and you've been working the road a bit, but that is fun and exciting because you build your act and you got fans, and that's all fun. But the city stuff, like I said a couple weeks ago, I got to do the VU, and that feeling of being in the back with like 6 comics, not the local MC, with respect to the local MC, not a guy you met a half hour ago and you're like, hey, nice to meet you, and you're back there watching the feature, who is whatever. I miss being at the bar and there's like 8 people, and then, you know, like you said, Gaffigan shows up or Louie walks in or whoever, or you're like, hey, Sarah Silverman's in town. She's been running around town. She might show up.
Yeah.
And you're all like, everyone's talking, then you're like, oh, wait, fucking, you know, Simonson's on. Everyone, I got to watch this set. Let me see what he's got.
Yes.
And I really miss those, or like right before you go on, being like, is this funny? Is this anything? Does anyone do this bit? That's what I'm missing. Eating the meal upstairs at the cellar and all that stuff. But anyway, what are some of the other shows you've experienced that are like, that's the show, it's a scene?
There was a couple, man. Well, Rafifi was big when I first moved here. Rafifi was like the spot, and that's where they say, like, what was that show? They did an album out of it. It was Bobby Tisdale.
Invite them up,
and that was like Aziz and Mike Birbiglia and Mulaney and all those. Nick Kroll was there. It was they were pop. Pete Holmes. It was popping, and that was like crazy hot. Greg Johnson had a show there. That was like, I felt like Studio 54. It was celebrities, it was drugs, it was nighttime, it was the Village, it was New York, and I was such a nobody. Tom McCaffrey looked at me. Oh my God! This is so inside. I feel like we're boring the shit out of the people in Montana.
No, I think they're interested in the New York scene. But I was on my way to Rafifi. I've probably told you this story before. When I got the call for Live at Gotham, which was my first TV thing ever, Comedy Central Live at Gotham, which is like, you know, it's so funny because I was just talking about how I thought it was like the most amazing show. I couldn't believe I was going to be on TV. And I was talking to Colin Quinn the other day, and he was like, oh, that was the worst show ever. Worst show in the history of stand-up. Because he's from an older generation. Like, to them, they were like, oh, there's this dog shit show where they perform at Gotham. Yuck.
Well, what's the beef?
Well, I think it was just, I guess they saw, like, low-level comics at Gotham Comedy Club. There was nothing, it was brightly lit. There was nothing, like, dangerous or fun about it. It was like a modern-day A&E's, even at the Improv, to them, I guess.
I see.
But I was walking to Rafifi, and I hadn't been living in New York long, and then I got a call, and it was Erin von Schoenfeld, who books the Improvs now, but she was working at Comedy Central at the time, and she was like, here's your date. You're going to be on Live at Gotham. And I just smoked a bunch of weed, and I was by myself walking down the street, 2nd Avenue, and I was like, great. And I called my mother. She didn't give a fuck. She told me to kill myself. And then I went inside, and I wanted to tell everybody, but nobody gave a shit because it was Rafifi. And then I remember there was a comic who I didn't think was all that great, and he was like, I just got called. I'm on Live at Gotham. And it took all the joy out of me. and there wasn't that much joy to begin with. So it was just another moment of expectations aren't quite what you want. And now this turned into a sad story. But anyways,
I want to hear who that is off air, but do I know him?
Oh, of course. Yeah. He's a comic.
I'll
text you.
Okay. Why? What? You weren't ecstatic? I mean, my first TV set, I shit blood. I mean, I was on the moon.
Well, I was excited, but I mean, we talked about it last week. I'm a sad sack of a man. My parents didn't care. My cousin's gay, and whatever. My mother wears shoes on Christmas.
Sure, I get it.
It was just and there's so many things that you don't get the reaction you want, because what you want is to call a family, and they're like, "Oh my God, can you believe it, honey? Come in and pick up the other phone. You're gonna hear this." And instead, it's more like, "All right, that's great."
Yeah, I hear you, but I gave up on that in fourth grade. Once I realized that I got a pubic hair and I jizzed in my own face, nobody cared. I said, "All right, this is for me." So I got a TV set. I didn't even tell my parents. I was like, "This is for me. I'm not letting anybody ruin it. I've learned my lesson. This is you. You got the Live at Gotham. Fuck what Steve, your dad, thinks. You enjoy it."
Well, this was also 17 years ago. Don't forget. I mean, I was 11,
True.
so I didn't know what was what and who was who. And by the way, that Live at Gotham, I mean, that's another one. I remember shitting my pants. And you mentioned T.J. Miller. He was on my night. And I remember he showed up. They were like, "Get there at 5. We got to do an outfit change and a run through and a thing." And T.J. Miller was like nowhere to be found. And I remember being like, "This guy's dead meat. I mean, they might not even let him go on. This is crazy." And then eventually he showed up like an hour and a half late. And I remember being like, "Well, let's see how this goes." And nobody cared. And that was a real lesson in show business to me.
Interesting. Yeah, that is fascinating. Can I just go back to a point you made earlier that I wanted to touch on?
Please.
You got the bit with the swipe in and the grandma's tits and it's not hitting, and I said it's ahead of its time. Do you ever think about Magellan and all those Copernicus cunts who got locked up for talking about the earth is round and your dad's gay and your mom's flat and all this shit, and they got thrown in jail, and, the Milky Way is not real and God is a pedophile or whatever it is. And so you got to remember, maybe you are ahead.
Maybe. It's just hard. I mean, I could just hear the keyboards clicking, this comparison between my bit about zooming into my grandmother's tits and being Play-Doh. I mean, I'm not exactly, Doc Brown over here.
Look, 88 miles an hour, 121 gigawatts. That's a whole different story. And Michael J. Fox has got the shakes, but I'm just saying, I have a bit that I think is a little too forward, and it's not working, but I'm not dropping it because I believe in it, and I don't believe in the guy in the trucker hat with the one tooth and the can of Schlitz.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep trying it, but like you said earlier, I mean, if I keep getting 0...
Yeah.
What am I going to do? I can't just keep smearing my grandma's tits if people are like, what?
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
So, because some things, sometimes you're just like, well, I guess no one else thinks that.
Yeah, and if they don't think it, they're not going to laugh at it, so
but
this is kind of a shame.
This is another great thing about podcasts now is that thought can live here instead of in stand-up.
Yes, but I feel like that was my whole childhood going, what about, isn't this something? And people go, shut up, keep making the bed, or take eyes on the road, or whatever. Like, nobody gave a shit about any idea I had as a kid, which is, thank God for stand-up, because it gives you a little bit of an audience and somebody's listening for 10 seconds. I feel like my whole childhood was like, hey, quit less yapping and more clapping, or whatever the hell. Like, you got time to lean, you got time to queef, shut up.
Completely. And I remember being a little kid in the supermarket parking lot. Jeez, I just started talking like I was a little kid.
Parking lot.
And that was weird because we're talking about childhood. It was like it triggered me into sounding like fucking Will Hunting. But
your dick's going to shrink.
So we're sitting there in the parking lot, and I was, bouncing around like a kid does. And my mother was like, hey, get over here. This is a street. And I was like, it's a parking lot. And she was like, don't be fresh. But I remember thinking of like, I know, but it's just not a street. And she's like, well, there's cars driving. And I'm like, well, I mean, there's cars driving on a racetrack, but it's not a street. It's a racetrack. This is a parking lot. And I remember thinking that and not being like, this is a bit, but I remember having that feeling of like, I got something though. Why
yes.
And that feeling of like, and this is where ego started and still going, of like, why aren't you admitting I'm making a point?
Right.
You fucked up. I'm correct.
Yeah, you had it. And that's the essence of being a stand-up right there. Is like, isn't it weird how we say this, but it's actually there? I mean, that's comedy, baby. So you're in the right field. That's for sure. I had this one. My mom was such a twat. I would do the say something, and she would laugh, and the whole room would laugh. She'd go, so stupid. I'm like, stupid? Fuck you, you coos. I just got the room to laugh. Dude, you couldn't have thought of that.
Yes, I still get that now all the time where people that aren't funny do this. Ba-dum boom.
Oh.
And I'm like, no, that's funnier than anything you've ever come up with. It happens on social media too.
Yes.
They're like ba-dum bum or like waka waka, and I'm like, you've never come up with anything as funny as this thing that you're like dismissing as whatever. And I'm dismissing it too. It's like a tweet, whatever.
Yeah.
You suck. And you're a hack being like, ba-dum bump.
Right.
Yeah, you're just a hack. That's like fucking 100-year-old comeback or whatever.
Yeah. That's I'm so I got 3 of those today. I got oof. I got ba-dum bump. I got wah wah. And I'm like, that's a pun. That's clever. You couldn't come up with that. Blow me. And I've said it before, but they only give you the wah wah when it's clever. When it's nothing, they don't even comment. Isn't
Right.
it weird how nothing, if it doesn't make any sense or whatever, people just ignore it. But if it's kind of clever, they give you more shit.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I don't. You got a point for sure.
That's all I
stink.
wanted.
But I had something else about
Sorry.
making everybody laugh. You made your mom laugh.
So stupid. What do you mean stupid? I had to rearrange some shit for that to connect.
You're stupid. How about that?
Yeah, take that, bitch.
Put that in your ass and blow it or whatever. All right, we got the things. I just noticed. Should we do the things?
Hey, Tuesdays with Stories is brought to you by Lucy Nicotine Gum. We love Lucy. Company was founded by Caltech scientists who were former smokers. That's what you want, folks. You want the people who get it, to cure it, to figure it out, to nail it. Took them 3 years of research and experimenting, and they made Lucy a nicotine gum that actually tastes good. That's true. I've tasted it. It's great. Gives you a little kick. Comes in 3 flavors, wintergreen, cinnamon, and pomegranate, each with 4 milligrams of nicotine. That's all you need. Drop those cigs and pick up some gum, and they also have lozenges. When you're craving a smoke, all you need is a little something to satisfy the habit, and you're good to go. Get Lucy so you're prepared for the itch. Here. I mean, they say smoking's the hardest thing to kick, and they have all these books and whatnot, and I think this is the best way. You got to get on it. Tastes great. Easy to get. Get your fix, and don't inhale a bunch of tar. Tell them how.
They are supporting this show, so go support them. Get 20% off all products, including gum or lozenges, at lucy.co with code Tuesdays. That's 20% off lucy.co and use promo code Tuesdays at checkout. I have to give this disclaimer. Warning, this product contains nicotine derived from tobacco. Nicotine is an addictive chemical, but you already knew that, so get 20% off a lucy.co with code Tuesdays.
Sing it, sister. All right. Also, Tuesdays brought to you by Feels CBD. You know we love the Feels. We love the CBD. We're both neurotic psychos. We need to take the edge off, but hey, he's sober. I'm a douche. We don't want to fly off the handle with some barbiturates. So give me a nice CBD. No high, but it just makes you feel better, relaxes you, and my brain is evil. So please boil my brain in some Feels. What is it? It's a premium CBD delivered directly to your doorstep. It naturally helps reduce stress, anxiety, pain, and sleeplessness. Lord knows I got the shakes. Easy to take. A few drops of Feels under your tongue, and you feel the difference in minutes. I use it every night just to snooze. I got problems with the snooze, the brain. New to CBD, well, Feels offers a hotline and text message support to help guide you through your experience. It works naturally to help you feel better. There's no high, no hangover, no addiction, no chemicals, just good, clean stuff. Become a member. I'm a member. Get it to your door every day. You can cancel anytime and save some dough. How do you do it, Joe Fatty?
Feels has me feeling my best every day, and it can help you too. Become a member today by going to feels.com/Tuesdays, and you'll get 50% off your first order with free shipping. That's Feels, FEALS.com/Tuesdays to become a member and get 50% automatically taken off your first order with free shipping. One more time, feels.com/Tuesdays and feel better.
Woo-wee! Oh, yeah.
Hot
All
dog.
right.
By the way, that Feels, I ordered some more on my own. They sent us some, And then I went in there and ordered some. I was like, I got to get some more of this shit because it's fun to drop. And Sarah will like hang her head off the couch and I drop it in there. It's kind of sexual. I want to, dress her up like a cat and spit in her face.
I love that. Something about a woman's head hanging that backwards way is something hot about it because that mouth is, you just want to put stuff in it.
Exactly. You want to really get creative. And I've seen it in the motion pictures where they have that head tilted back and the guy's just jamming it right in there. And it seems pleasant to me.
And then you wonder, does that turn women on? Women are so strong. My gal, I don't know what she's into. I don't know what your gal's into. They're so secretive and vague. We could all have a better life and enjoy sexual stuff, but it's all this weird, I don't know, tiptoeing around. You can't say this. Got to use play words. Just tell me what you want, you skank.
It's all guesswork. I mean, there's sometimes where you're like, yeah, I'm your father, you dumb bitch, and they come, and then other ones you got to really punch them in the pussy, and some you got to suck on their toes, and that's just my aunt. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know, but and then of course as years and days go by, you gotta mix it up a little bit. I'm like painting a mustache on my girl, and I got her wearing. I don't even know anymore.
But is there any wonder why there's like weirdness with male and women's sexuality and other stuff and tension? And it's like, hey, I feel like after sex with my lady, I'm like, fill out this checklist, fill out this comment card. What do you like? What do you not like? And we can just get you off, please you to perfection every time. What is this? You could marry somebody for 30 years and go like, you like that? I had no idea. Like, what is that?
Yeah, it's a whole lot of pussyfooting, and then, which is one of my things, and then when I say what I'm like, say this, I feel like a douche. Like afterwards, I'm like, oh my God, what was I doing? I can't believe I said that. I didn't want anyone to know that. And it's really, it's tricky. Sex is tricky.
It's tricky. And it doesn't have to be, but I guess it does. I mean, I'm 100% blaming the female sex on this. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on you, you dumb fucking cunts.
Well, just tell us. It's all this, oh, men are so stupid, they don't know what they did. But like, if you tell us once, right, put it in writing, text me, I got it.
I've felt this way before. I'm sure we've said this before. I know everyone hates me for saying that, but I'm self-conscious about saying things that we've already said. But I always felt that way, and I tried to do a bit about this that also ate it. I got a lot of bad bits, but I remember 30 years ago as a kid, people would be like, you don't know what a blowjob is? Oh, this guy doesn't know what a blowjob is. And just being like, well, just tell me. If you tell me, I'll just know. And then we'll have the same amount of knowledge. I don't get it. Just say what it is. And someone told you fucking 3 hours ago.
Right. I fucking hate that. And now we do that we do that on steroids with like, what's a super delegate? Oh, this guy's alt-right. We got a Nazi over here. He doesn't know what to do. I'm like, I didn't read the fucking Capital book. I don't know. I didn't read the book on politics. Just tell me.
And by the way, it's not that easy to figure out.
Yes.
I mean, you got the House, you got the Congress, you got the legislative, the executive, your mother's asshole. There's a whip. I don't know what the fuck a whip is. You got two whips. There's a minority whip, a majority whip, a cool whip.
I know, right? The black people drive a whip, and then there's whip it good, and then there's the Jews and the judicial and the legislative, and there's three of those as branches. Yeah, there's a governor, a I don't know what a senator does, and a governor and a mayor is a city. Then there's a councilman. What is all that?
There's an alderman.
What's it all? Ah, God.
Alderman Swayzak. I don't know who an alderman is. I don't know who gets an alderman. I don't know why they're an alderman. I mean, I was an altar boy, but I don't know what an alderman is.
Yeah. Well, I know Robert Altman, but what the hell's a comptroller while we're at it?
I never heard that until just now.
Give it a goog. That's a thing. Comptroller, which seems made up. It's like olfactory. What the hell? That's in your nose. I'm like, is it a new? Is it old? What are we doing here? We're just putting words together.
No, it's all very confusing, and there's the Declaration of Independence, and then there's the Institute of Technology. I don't know. I don't know what's what, and I'm watching the shit all day. And here's the thing: sometimes too, I watch cable news, but they never explain some of the things. So I'm watching the news every day. I'm like Cal Ripken over here, watching the news every day, but they never. I missed the first episode. Evidently, they didn't like when CNN started. They didn't come out and say, "Hey, there's a this and a that." I know
Yeah.
the governors. This is what I know, or what I've been told or read, is the governors are doing more governing, and that's why people were like, they're better qualified to be a president because the governors have to actually govern. A senator
Right.
just votes. He just lives in D.C. and he votes yes or no on
That's a
your
good
mother's
gig.
asshole, and sometimes presents a thing. But they're out pussyfooting everywhere. That's why it's hard to what do you call it when you're running? You navigate and you negotiate. Campaign. Because the governor has to do shit, and then Mayor Pete, that little fella, he was running, and he was the mayor of like a town, and people were like, "How do you campaign? You're the mayor of like a city. Don't you have to go?"
Right.
Mayor of the city, but senators, they can just mail in a vote, I think, or they just text their mother and say, "Hey, vote no on AIDS or whatever."
That's why, I mean, I get politics if you want to make some changes and shake things up and run the world. And I think it's all power and all ego and all anal because, A, as you said, they don't do shit. They're just off and they got a desk with an American flag on it and they got the little pen holder and some notary and a little stamp on their envelope that says Mayor Buddha Dick or whatever. It's all formalities. They don't do anything. That's how he has time to campaign. But here's the rub. Something goes wrong, and it's your ass.
Right.
That's the whole job.
Yeah, I think some of the lower level people actually do some things, I guess. I don't know what the fuck's going on over there, but I think the president does like the least, I feel like.
Yeah.
They're just, I don't know what the fuck they do. They're just like, I guess they can veto or, Dido. I don't know what's going on with the
Keto
president.
diet.
They do some speeches and whatnots. But it's like the head coach. I remember watching an interview or listening to an interview with a head football coach, and they're like, "What's the biggest difference about being the head coach as opposed to the defensive coordinator?" He's like, "It's less coaching." Like, I think the defensive coordinator's like, "All right, we're going to blitz them. We're going to go to the nickel. We're going to go to the dime. We're going to do a 4-3." And the head coach, I think he's just out there smacking people's asses and saying, "If we win the toss, defer."
Right. He's got a clipboard and a headset, and he's just drinking Gatorade on the sidelines going, "You fucking cum guzzler, you got to catch that ball." But it's like anything else. It's like TV, Fallon ain't in the writer's room. That's a harder job than presenting, but it's all on him. Somebody gets in trouble, it's on him. He's the head of the tower. Movie sets. I used to work on movie sets. The director sits in a director's chair drinking lattes, and he goes, "Cut. All right, lunch." And then the AD's up there cranking the film, and he's the assistant director. Then you got the other guy, the director of photography. He's got 6 lenses on his neck and cargo shorts, and he's going, "Move that over here. We're losing light." These guys, his ass is on the line, but the director's he's getting a massage.
Yeah, it's interesting. Exactly. The director's like, "All right, I need this to have like a golden tint. I want it to be look out of focus, and then rack the focus. All of a sudden, it comes into focus, and you zoom and swing it and hit it. And the DP's like, "Oh my God, we got to fly in a camera from Germany. I got to blow my father on Christmas, and we got to get another lens." And the director's like, "Well, you better get it. I don't know. You better do that because that's what it needs to be."
It's my vision, and your ass is on the line. It's like Steve Jobs is up in a turtleneck and mom jeans going, "This thing, you swipe it, it's going to open up, and Windows sucks, and Bill Gates is a douche." And then there's some kid in Asia going, "The soldering iron. If I don't get this shit going, I'm going to have to jump out of a window," but they put a net under it.
Yes, I think we talked about this similarly a few weeks ago. It's like, I got inventions up the ass, but I don't know what to do with them. I got to figure. By the way, we talked about this T-shirt idea I got 300 emails. I've never gotten more emails in my life. How many people are printing T-shirts at their home? I can't even.
Oh, it's the American dream now. They got what's the idea again?
I didn't want to say it because someone will take this son of a bitch. It's big. I'm telling you now, it's big.
Oh, so these people, they lending out their service. Like, I got the gear if you want to make it.
Yeah, but I want it to be like a website, a company, a thing, because this is gonna be the new look of the '90s, Jerry.
Well, now you gotta text me.
I'll text you this and the shitty comic, and I got a lot to text you.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh boy. I mean, no offense, but what are we up there with Got Milk? I mean, how good could this slogan be?
This is bigger than Got Milk. I mean, I want to say it because I'm so proud of it, and it would be funny because people would be like, that idea sucks. What are you kidding? But I really do. It's not patent. It's not Sean patented. So someone could just nab it. I'll see it out there, and I'll have to shoot myself in the tits.
All right. Oh, geez. You got these gays are foaming at the mouth over here. You're getting them all hot and bothered. They're sitting on a towel here, and you won't tell us. But can I just say this about the politics, and it's the last thing about the delegate and the Senate and the Scaramucci and the other guy. The saving grace of all that shit is Google. Because I go on Google and I go, what the fuck's and it fills in Senator do. And I go, thank God there's other assholes out there who doesn't know what this guy does.
But don't you have this sometimes? When you Google, you read it, and you're like, I got nothing.
Oh, completely.
I read Whip a couple weeks ago. I'm like, I got to get to the bottom of this Whip because I've been worried about it since '85. And I read a novel about whips and chains and Dick Chainsy and all this stuff. And I got nothing. Miracle Whip. I read the whole thing. Whippy Houston. I still don't know what the fuck the whip does.
Yeah, I don't either. And I equate that with like a powdered wig and slavery and washing. I don't know what that is. So I gave up on whip in elementary. But is that around? I think that's over.
No, that's still around. And it sucks because you want to present yourself. And this is where this is part of a much larger picture. Because you feel like if you don't know it, then you can't. All your points are invalid. Because people will do that. You don't know what a whip is. Why am I even talking to this guy? Yep. And I'm sitting there, and they're going, "Well, the minority whip came in, and minority whip. This term, I can't even believe how offensive it is. My God.
Yeah. How did that make it through?
Minority whip. I thought we did away with that in the '60s.
I know. I feel weird saying like my buddy's whipped. With his girlfriend. Even now, because he's a black guy. He's whipped like crazy. And I'm like, hey, all these terms you say, they're all bad for slave. Hey, I'm calling my black. You want to hang? Oh, shit. You're so whipped. Ah, shit. I'm like, I got. You want to get a brownie? Oh, no. I'm going to jail.
Brownie points. Oh, God. I'm getting a whole lot of shit over here. We had to get text because we have the ads hadn't come. By the way, we have another ad. I gotta mention we got another, not an ad, a sponsor. Another sponsor. This episode is also brought to you by ExpressVPN. Speaking of Googling things, did you know lots of streaming services hide thousands of shows from you based on your location? What's streaming in your country is completely different from what is available to someone in the UK or Japan, but you can get around all that with ExpressVPN. Using ExpressVPN, I can control which country the internet thinks I am in. With just one click, I can change my location. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's what a minority whip does. ExpressVPN has over 90 countries to choose from, so every time I run out of stuff to watch, I just switch to another country to unlock new shows. This is amazing. Yeah, this is pretty great. Personally, I just started watching the Lady in the Dale, the Car in the Dale. Have you watched that one? On HBO.
Car in the Dale. Chippendale? I don't know what that is.
It's about, I told you about the car, the lady that made the three-wheeled car.
Oh, what's the name of it? I will watch that tonight.
I think it's Lady in the Dale, or something Dale is in there.
Dale? Uncle Dale?
No, I wish he invented a three-wheel car. I've been the third wheel in a couple of his days, but I'm watching that on HBO. That's fantastic. There's the new Woody Allen, Mia Farrow doc coming to HBO, which I'm afraid they're going to slam my beloved Woody. That's coming out.
Can't wait.
You're going to want to see that. That's what I've been watching, but you can watch more with ExpressVPN. Tell them how to do it, Mark.
You got it, Tubbs. Be smart. Stop paying full price for streaming service and only getting access to a fraction of the content. Get your money's worth at expressvpn.com/Tuesdays. Don't forget to use our link so you can get 3 extra months free. That's expressvpn.com/Tuesdays. expressvpn.com/Tuesdays to learn more. You're going to love it. All the great shows. Watch whatever you want. And don't get followed. Get on it, folks.
And while we're selling things, folks, join the Patreon. For God's sakes, it's enough already. The jig is up. The Patreon is where you want to be. We got so much stuff. We're about to record a bonus again right after this. It's going to be a hot one. We've done bonuses every week. There's like hours and hours. I can't even imagine how many hours are on there. It's got to be hundreds of hours, plus all the live shows. Chris DiStefano, who evidently is famous now, he's on there.
Yeah.
We had the best episode we ever did was him and Ron Bennington from Austin.
Lights out. Lunch.
Absolutely amazing. By the way, I watched Death Proof last night for we're doing Ronan and I have this movie podcast, and I watched Death Proof, and they talk about Antons.
Wow, look at that.
They're like, yeah, we were at Antons earlier. We did our podcast there. Best episode we ever did, I thought. Bennington, Christy, tons of good ones. We have, who else is on there? Corinne Fisher is on there.
Bert Kreischer, Michelle Wolf, Nikki Glazer, Giannis Pappas, Ari Shafir. I mean, we really ran the gamut on friends of ours. But great stuff. Plus the queefs all day long. We got road queefs. You got Sarah and you queefs. I got me and the lady queefs. I mean, there's so many extra minutes of Fat Chris Al and green rooms all over the country. I mean, there's a plethora of jizz on that napkin.
Yeah, we started doing those, by the way, in like 2017, I think, 2018. So it's like years of stuff on the Patreon, and it's a bargain. You can get on there for $5, and you get the video a week early, so you can, talk about how ugly I am a week early. And so get in there, join that Patreon. It's a lot of fun, and you really are missing out on the Tuesdays with Stories experience if you're not on the Patreon.
Here. Now, I know you got a nugget, so I want to get a nugget. Or you got something you said.
I got a thing. It's not. I don't know if it's a nugget because people are gonna be like, that wasn't a nugget. Denver nugget.
Chicken nugget. All right. Well, let me throw a nugget in then. Maybe it's a nugget. It could be a fish stick. I don't know if it's a full nug. But so we're in a pandemic. All you hear is like, hey, use the time to make your thing and use this time. You're sitting at home all day squeezing your meat. Like, actually go out and make a video or a masterpiece, whatever it is. So I've been talking a lot of bullshit about buying a piano.
Uh-huh.
Of course, 26 months have gone by. I never bought the piano. I did a show in Lafayette, Louisiana. It's a 2.5-hour drive back to the great city of New Orleans. I'm driving with my pal Vincent Zambon. He was the opener. And he goes, I just bought a guitar a couple weeks ago, and I play it 30 minutes a day. And I go, really? And he goes, yeah, it was hell. And then before you know it, you just get it, and now I can play the guitar. And I was like, huh. You get a book? He's like, yeah, you get a book. And I'm like, you get an app? What do? You watch YouTube? He's like, yeah, I did all that. But I just enjoy playing. And I go, is it a chore? Is it like, oh, it's 12:30, I got to pick up that axe and stroke it? And he goes, no, I enjoy it. It's relaxing. And I said, if this guy is buying a guitar and playing it, I should have bought if I had bought the piano back then, I'd be a fucking Mozart by now.
That's what it is.
Chuck Berry.
Yeah, so I've been doing the same thing. I got the mandolin 9 years ago. I was with you. I didn't take lessons for 2.5 years. Then I took all the lessons. Then I stopped taking lessons. But I've been playing guitar during pandemic because Sarah's got a guitar. So I've been playing that, and all of a sudden I got a few chords. But that's what happens to me is I was always like, there's 6 strings. My fingers are fat.
Yep.
My dick is soft. I can't play guitar. And then I'm 38. I pick it up. I've learned 4 chords and 7 years ago, and I just sit there and I think I could have done this when I was 6. Like I should just be satisfied with I'm playing guitar every day, but instead I'm like, fuck. I could have been a fucking musician and jumping around instead of going up there and being like, have you ever fucked your wife and she talks dirty and you don't like it? It's nonsense. I could have been fucking, singing songs and having everyone sing along and actually love me instead of just laughing at me. But sorry, I'm ruining your story. But
you're Buddy Holly. You could have been Buddy Holly.
Ooh, I look just like Buddy Holly.
There you go. And I look like Mary Tyler Moore.
But so, anyways, I've been doing the guitar thing, and I just did an interview on Mindful Metal Jacket, quick plug, with this woman, Catherine Price, who wrote this book, How to Break Up with Your Phone. And she was talking about you spend 4 hours a day on your phone. If you spent like 45 minutes of that playing the instrument, and she was talking, she's like, I play guitar now, I play drums, and she really inspired me. So my point is, tell me you got the piano.
Well, everything you just said, I'm vouching and doubling down on. I completely agree. And it's that hump. You got to get over that. It's like a stick shift. It's like anything else. You get in your car, you go, I'll never learn this. This is beyond me. I can't figure it out. And then you just keep grinding. You keep failing. And now I can drive a stick. I'm fucking whipping that little cunt all over town now. And it's second nature. Huh?
Whip.
Minority. So... yeah, so I'm just going to suck it up, like you said, and the brain knows that it is hard, then you just keep doing it, so I'm just going to keep tickling those ivories, and then eventually I'll be playing chopsticks, and then eventually I'll be playing Nirvana, and then, Chris Brown.
I'll tell you, when Louis, who I also got a book, Salacuse gave me this thing, which is hilarious.
Wow.
It's a notebook with Louis C.K.'s face on it, which is...
terrifying.
It creeps us out, but I got to put it under the pillow before I jerk off, but...
yeah, that's like George's mom doll. It's like staring at you.
It looks exactly the same.
I know, the red hair.
But when he got, canceled or whatever the term is, he started playing piano, and that guy, he plays Mozart. Like, not like some Elton John bullshit. He plays like Flight of the Bumble Cunt. He can really play. I mean, it's insane. He plays all the hits from the 1700s or whatever year those guys were alive.
Whoa, how cool is that? All right, well, I mean, if that idiot can do it, I feel like that gives me a little hope. And also, here's the clinker is you buy these keyboards online. I watched 80 reviews on keyboard. I watched 14 YouTube videos. It takes a lot of time to pick the right one. And I was about to buy the piano with the stand, the little cross X metal stand with all the wires. And I go, fuck it. I'm buying the real piano. I got the wooden box and everything.
What?
Yeah, I'm going all in.
An upright?
Upright, baby grand. Here's the thing. If you put the goddamn... because I was all about portability. I want to slide it under the rug. I want to put it under the bed and never see it again. But the easier it is to put away, the more you're going to put it away. So I'm leaving that chooch right there on the floor against the wall, taking up real estate, so I can't avoid it.
Well, that's what this lady, Catherine Price, everybody go check out Mindful Metal Jacket. She said the key is never put your guitar away. Just have it sitting out there. And I was like, I did that just because I'm a piece of shit that doesn't put things away. But she's like, it's one more obstacle. You got to like unzip the bag or the whatever. It's like jerking off. You got to unzip your bag before you can jerk off on someone's face. So
right, takes forever.
But how are you getting it up into that apartment?
Hey, that's up to the Guatemalan guy who works for Amazon. I mean, he's gonna help me. I'll give him a Finsky. We'll put that puppy on his back like a donkey in Venezuela, and he's gonna hike it up the stairs. Also, I have an elevator, and we'll wheel that Nazi right into here and start playing.
That's exciting. I mean, like a real piano, because that's always, and we've had this conversation before, that's always the instrument you most want to play because people stand around you and you do that look back. The piano look back. Oh, that is like, it's all I've ever wanted to do. And my favorite moment in the Marx Brothers are always when Chico comes and starts shooting those keys. So
yes,
it's something you always want to do. I can play 3 little tiny things on the piano, and I feel alive when I'm doing it. It's just someone taught me when I was, 17.
Right, right, exactly. But it's so true. You're at that party, it's kind of dead, and you go, oh, what's that over there? You blow the dust off, you pop that cover open, and then everybody starts dancing. You picture drinks starts getting served, and everybody's doing twirls and shit. And I can't wait to tickle it and get on the black and white and really play some Bach or Wagner or whatever Jew hater guy. And it's gonna be a minute, but I'm gonna film the whole thing because that's what you do now, and I'll make a night out of it. But I'll tell you what really sucked was just pushing the purchase button because it's a couple pennies for this puppy, and I just couldn't do it. And I eventually just said, fuck it, and I pushed it. Then I go, wow, I did it. That's it. And then 20 minutes later, I get a bounce back email saying the payment didn't go through. You put the wrong number in or something. And I was like, is that a sign? Is that a sign that I shouldn't be buying this? And I had to re-up and go, just get it and put the right number in, you cunt.
Well, oh, shit, I forgot what I was going to say because that didn't go through thing. Oh, the nice thing about a piano, if you bought a piano, like a nice piano, is it's beautiful. It's art. So even if you're not playing it, like if you have the keyboard stuck under the couch, it looks like shit and it's just embarrassing. But a piano, even if you've never played, You can have a piano just because it's like a beautiful thing. It's prettier than a couch or a armoire.
Agreed. Yeah, it's cute. I mean, I'm not. I didn't dive into a fucking Yamaha here with Little Richard on it. It's just a stand-up wooden box with keys on it. So don't get the hopes up, folks.
What's in the box?
John Doe's got the upper hand.
But yeah, no, that's exciting. I love it. That's a nugget. I mean, that's a big nugget. My nugget's nothing. I got a nothing nugget, but that sounds like a cereal.
Nothing nugget. Like there's no fat in it. Nothing nugget.
That could be something. Well, there's a lot of fat in this episode, but
people say nothing burger. That's a real nothing burger, but nothing nugget is better. You got the alliteration.
Yeah, I think so.
Keep it in the pocket.
Yeah, you could call it the nothing N-word for short to kind of... maybe not.
Denver N-words.
Oh, boy. By the way, you notice we haven't edited in a long time. In the old days, we'd have to always be like, cut that, cut this. I feel like we haven't done that in a long time. I'm proud of us.
I guess we grew up a little and got a little more scared. I don't know.
Or less scared.
Aha.
Because like back when we first started, every 10 minutes we were like, don't put that out. Edit this. But, I think we're growing as people.
Sure, I'm hard.
So anyways, my nugget, I was home last weekend or 2 weekends ago, whenever the hell I was home, and I went over to Borderland State Park, which I've talked about before. It's my favorite park in Massachusetts. Well, maybe not my favorite, but it's the one closest to my parents' house. Took my niece and nephew there, and it was a big snowstorm brewing. It was in the, what's that called? The resume?
Brochure?
Fuck. No,
nor'easter. Weather Channel.
The forecast. It was in the forecast. Big snow coming, snowstorm coming. And I was like, fuck it. You know when you try to thread the needle of the storm where it's like, the storm's supposed to start snowing at 10 a.m. So I told my niece and nephew, I was like, get up at 8:30, wheels up at 8:30. I'm picking you up. So just be ready because we're going to have an hour to get there, walk around before it starts being a huge snowstorm. We got them up at 8:30, got them all bundled. We're the only ones in the park because everyone's afraid of the snow, of course.
Sure.
So we got the whole park to ourselves, and we walked around in the quiet. We took moments of meditation. I had them do gratitude lit. We took turns going around saying what we're grateful for. Beautiful day. The ice was frozen, so we walked way out onto the ice. We had like group hugs in the ice. I'm trying to really spread the butter of love, and
that's great.
Let these children feel the love tonight. And we're sitting there, I'm like, let's have a moment of silence, just sit here and just take in nature. And then we're out in the ice, like 100 feet out, we hear, and I go, get off the ice, everyone go, everyone run. And it's slippery. We're like assholes, like doing like whoop, 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 like Bugs
Bambi.
Bunny whole shit. Yeah, Bambi. And so we go, and no one shot us, luckily, but we come running out to the ice, and it's like slipping and sliding. We dive off the ice into the snow. We're like, oh my God, that was scary. And then we hear, and we realize it's like a gun range. There's like a gun range like over there. It wasn't the ice at all. The ice was totally fine. It was just a gunshot, shit all of our pants, and we ran off the ice. Then we went back on the ice because we realized it was just a gun. And then you have that moment where you're like, why would the ice be cracking? It's been 12 degrees for 6 weeks. It's like, I can see it's 4 inches thick. But it was quite an adventure. Then the snow finally came. We're walking around in the park, and you can, like, if you stop and get quiet, you can hear the snow, like, just hitting the ground. It's making this beautiful sound. And huge snowflakes. There's an open field there. We're running around catching them in our mouths like little retarded kids. And
yes.
It was just beautiful, gorgeous. Got in the car, drove home, listened to some rock and roll. It looks like you're going warp speed. And just had a great, great time. It was a fun threesome out in the woods.
I love it. I mean, that's what life's all about. We're all trying to get 8 retweets and viral video, but it's all fleeting. That will be a memory stuck in your asshole forever, and it's a nice thing.
By the way, I like the pen. We should go pens.
Pen is good.
It feels like we're smart. We're trying to figure something out. Let me make note of that, and I'll just put that down in my permanent record.
Yeah. You get this one? Huh.
Yeah, that's good. The ears, something.
Yeah. How about the guy when you were a kid who could do this one? I was like, oh, man, I want to blow this guy. He's so cool. Yeah,
I love that. I mean, I think I told this story a million times before. My friend Derek oft mentioned, funniest person I ever met. We had my sister or whatever, my mother, whoever set it up, had like a psychic come over the house.
What?
And all the women got their palms read, and all the men were like, these dumb bitches. Whoa. And so we played pool and drank beers, and they went and got their palms read and their tits touched or whatever.
Sure.
And they came, the lady was leaving, and she had her table and her oils or whatever. And she was like, someone was like, how did you know you were a psychic or whatever? And she blabbed on for like 5 minutes. And then when she finished, Derek went, big deal. My dad can pull his thumbs off. And it's still maybe my favorite thing anyone's ever said. I could not stop laughing. It's still hilarious to me.
That's amazing. Wow, what a pull dare. And also, fuck psychics. Where were they on the pandemic?
Good point.
No
Could've used
mention.
a heads up.
No heads up. No warning. You got nothing. You can't see the future. You're worthless. I hope you get COVID. You're all a bunch of grifters, you gypsy twat.
Yeah, you stink. All right, where are you going to be? I mean, well...
By the way, great hair day. Best hair day since the, look at that. It's luscious. It's full. It's cherry brown. I mean, look at that. Wow, you look like Johnny Suede over there.
Thank you very much. Yeah, for the people have commented, like, hey, your hairline's receding. I'm like, it's been here since 1982, my friends. That was an old bit of mine. It's like my eyebrows and hair are fighting.
Yeah, it ain't a forecast. It's a 5-cast. Coming in, folks. Look at that dandruff. It's a snowy day. But yeah, I forgot to plug all my dates for last week, even though we're recording this off kilter. So thanks for coming out. I was at Soul Joel's. I was at the Blue Room, and then I got Raleigh coming up, and Spokane, and Texas. I'm at the Paramount in Austin. So, yeah, I got a bunch of dates. It's all on the website. I updated it like for the first time in 30 years. So, screw the haters. We're coming out and doing the road. I mean, vaccines are pumping, and let's have a yuck.
Yeah, I have my date book somewhere, but now I can't find it. But I'm coming to Omaha, Nebraska, April something, 21, 22, I think. And Side Splitters, March something. Fuck me hard. But Side Splitters in March, Omaha in April. Check out their websites. I'll start updating my website. I'm all off. But check out these podcasts. Go check out Mindful Metal Jacket. Last week, I had Catherine Price with How to Break Up With Your Phone, which is timely. And it was a great conversation. It was really fun and interesting. And the week before that, I had this guy, Richard Lang, who is a fascinating teacher and author. And there's some good stuff. And then Ronan and I have been doing this movie podcast. That's on YouTube. You can check that out. The audio, I think, is on Patreon also. So the Tuesdays with Stories Patreon. Join the Patreon. Come out and see us. Patreon, whatever. That's, yeah, fuck.
Yeah, come on by. I'm at Dayton. Oh, I forgot to say Dayton, Ohio, and Syracuse. Not bragging.
Oof.
So, yeah, join the Patreon. Say hello. Podcasts are slipping around like they're fluffing off like flies on a dick. So stick with us. We're here to stay. Who's got a better consistency rate than these kooks right here? So thanks for all you do, and we're here for you. And maybe eventually we'll meet up at some point and get back in person.
Soon. When will then be now? Soon.
Spaceballs. Loved it.
All right. George is saying
we're
cut
going
it.
to go do a bonus right now.
All right. Farts, chips,
Raise all up.
blood.